you guys for covering Penn State football and being here. I also want to take a minute before we get into all the specifics about the game. I do want to take a minute and thank our Penn State grounds crew, as well as OPP and everybody else. They don't get enough credit. They don't get enough pats on the backs. They don't get enough thank yous. We got 18 inches of snow this week, and you'd never know it based on the playing surface. Now, I'm not talking about the stands. I'm talking about the playing surface, the field. It was phenomenal, and it was great. We brought all those guys in the locker room, and the team thanked them, and they broke the team down. So, there's people like that all over Penn State's campus. There's people like that all over college campuses across the United States, and they don't get enough pats on the backs and thank you. So I just want to take a minute and let them know that they are appreciated. Our field was phenomenal. Our practice fields are always phenomenal. And I wanted to make sure we took some time to do that. Talking about the game, most importantly, we won the turnover battle. We had that turnover early, which I'm glad I had this mask on so people couldn't read my lips or my face. But we won the turnover battle, which was significant. I thought that was a big part early in the game that caused problems. Not only did we turn the ball over, but the one play touchdown, it looks great, but then our defense is right back on the field. So that created some challenges. And then I think we had the return for a touchdown on special teams as well, and our defense is right back on the field. So that created some challenges for us. And then the explosive play battle, we were able to win that as well and get to 15%. I think it was also really important. We usually get a game like that early on in the season, and I think that's really important to get guys in the game, to be able to evaluate them, to build on it. And I don't think it also creates a healthy locker room the more guys you can get on the field and play. And again, we've done that for a while. So it was good to have a game like that and see a bunch of guys get in, whether they're young guys or veterans that have been doing a lot of the dirty work behind the scenes. So I thought that was great. Complementary football, offense, defense, and special teams, again, having each other's backs. And then, like I mentioned, I think after the first 9 minutes of the game, I think we gave up 75 yards after that. So the adjustments were good. So, I appreciate everybody covering Penn State football. I appreciate the resiliency that this team showed, the players, the coaches, the staff, the trainers, everybody under challenging circumstances. So to end the end of regular season with a 1-0 is a positive, especially after the last couple weeks. So open up the questions.
As always, we'll give preference to those who are here. So we'll start with Corey Geiger and then Rich Scarcella.
James, can you let us know if you have made a decision on the bowl game and how that decision will come about?
Yeah, there's going to be a meeting after this where I'm going to get together with the captains and the seniors. I had a meeting with them earlier in the week to tell them that we were going to be focused on being 1-0 this week, and then we would meet again after this was over, and give them those guys time to meet with their positions, shower up, and then give me time to get back in there and have a meeting with them and come up with our plan. So that will happen after this, and then we'll obviously communicate that.
Rich Scarcella, Reading Eagle, and then Mark Brennan.
James, why did you think it was important to get Jahan Dotson involved in the game so early and so often?
Yeah, it's not like it was different this week. It was more just based on what they were doing defensively and things that we had in the passing game to protect our running game. That was really an RPO where we had a run called, and if they gave us access on the perimeter that we could throw it, we threw it. He made a really nice catch and knifed up the field. Their guy missed the initial tackle, and then he can make something happen afterwards. So it just really kind of plays out like that. If you're running the offense the way you should be, no matter what offense you run, the defense is going to give you something. and you got to have enough answers in your offense to be able to take advantage of it. The last couple of weeks, we've been able to get our running game going, which opens up the play action pass, which opens up the RPOs. And then also, depending on how people are going to play you, whether they're a man or a zone team, if they're a man team, then you got to be able to take advantage of that with man concepts. But if they're a zone team, they're going to give you access that allows you to just, throw some of those, whether they're hitches or what we call hinges or whatever it may be. And then you're able to get more guys involved. So, I thought that was good.
Mark Brennan, and then we'll go to New Bias.
James, I think everybody can appreciate your family situation. Could you envision a situation where there is a bowl and you work remotely, or is this kind of all in or all out for everybody?
I lost you there at the end. I'm sorry. Could you guys turn it up, please, a little bit too?
I'm sorry. Did you catch the part
Mark,
about?
I just heard you.
Yeah, I think we appreciate your family situation. Can you envision a situation where the team goes to a bowl, but you work remotely to be with your family?
Well, based on the dates, Mark, that I think are available out there, I don't think so, because I think the turnaround's going to be fairly fast. It's going to be a week or 2 weeks from the way I understand it. As you know, we already got kind of the bowl schedules mapped out, so we're ready to move quickly. So no, I don't see that, because the other problem, Mark, is whenever I do get to go see my family, I got to quarantine. Our doctor that deals with our family, from a sickle cell perspective, whenever I get to go see my family, I got to do a 5-day quarantine before I go. And then obviously we got the factors coming back. So I, not only do I have to do it for Penn State when I would come back to be around the team, I have it to go see my wife. So I got Fumi's rules and I got Wayne's rules, and I'm not in charge of either one of them. So I don't see how that's going to happen, Mark. I do know there's a lot of conversations in how, I'm going to be able to try to get my family back here. The administration, Sandy's been really good about some discussions that we've had about that, how I'm going to get to see them, and then how can we support them? How can we support my family, in this region, based on her, her sickle cell. So I wish it was that simple, where I could just go and check in with them and see them for a short period of time. I just don't see how that would work on either end from a family perspective or a Penn State perspective. So this is going to continue for I think a little bit longer.
New Bias Wilborn, and then Elton Hayes.
Coach, forgive the slight deviation from football, but earlier in the year when you guys were going through the losing streak, you said, when I think Ben asked you, how were you? You said, I can't say I'm good. After everything, particularly after this win, how would you say you are now? How are you feeling now? How are you feeling about the team? And how are you feeling personally after all this?
Yeah, so obviously right after a win, you work hard at, having success. So right after a win, you do feel, a sense of joy. I think somebody asked me earlier in the year, when was the last time you felt joy? So you do get that sense of satisfaction for the players, that sense of satisfaction for the team. But the way my mind works, I'm already kind of on to the next task. It's just kind of how I'm wired. I think it sometimes drives everybody crazy, but I do think it's an important trait that I've kind of always had, kind of on to the next task that needs to happen. But I am very proud of everybody for battling through it. It's hard to do this under normal circumstances, and even more now. I'm also really proud how we've kept everybody healthy. We're one of the only team. We're one of only a handful of teams in the Big Ten and in the country that didn't miss a game, during the season. No postponements, none of those types of things. We did have issues with false positives. We had a bunch of them this week. We're up to 66, I think, false positives. That's people missing practice. That's people missing work. We had a bunch this week. And that puts you on an emotional roller coaster as well. So at the end of the day, I'm proud of how we handled it. The whole big picture and keeping these guys safe and healthy, and then finding a way to battle back as the season went on. So I'm trying to keep all those things in perspective. Got a lot of work to do. It was a lot of distractions this season, with the season starting and then being canceled and then coming back up, and all the protocols that we have that are different in the Big Ten compared to other conferences. States handle things different. Universities handle things different. So there's a lot. And I also want to try to get back to these freshmen and transfers, of getting back to understand what a normal Penn State experience is like. You know, you got these freshmen, this is all they know. And this is not what Penn State is like. I want them to feel what this town is like, you know, on a game weekend. There's energy and there's a buzz, and the restaurants are doing great and the bars are doing great and the hotels are doing great, and it's Happy Valley. And, you know, I want people to experience that. And for our freshmen, they haven't experienced that. And our sophomores, they've only experienced that 50% of the time. So even my staff, I got staff that have come and have never seen, you know, what this place is normally like. So I'm trying to remind everybody of that as much as I possibly can. So I don't know whether I answered your question. I can't remember even what your question was. I've been talking for a while. I hope I answered it.
Elton Hayes, and then the last question will go to Ryan Parsons.
Coach, hope you're well this evening.
Hey, Elton.
Coach, you had mentioned this in the previous question, the previous answer, dealing with, you know, the COVID, just all of the things that go with holding this together during the course of a pandemic. If my numbers are correct, you and Rutgers are the only two programs in the Big Ten to have played a 9-game season. Just wanted to know if you could just kind of speak to the sacrifices of the your coaching staff and your players that made this possible, also along with just like the community and just, you know, pulling all of this off.
Yeah. You know, there's so many people that worked hard to get this done. But at the end of the day, it's about the people following the policies put in place, the procedures put in place, and to ask 18 to 23-year-old guys to do it and do it on a consistent basis. I know they're sick of me telling them to put their mask on or social distance or this or that. It's just like constant. And I thought, you know, we had a really good plan and we had a really good policy. And at the end of the day, you know, people made the choices to follow it, not only when they were with us, but when they were away from us. And that's the same thing with the staff. You know, not only did the players have to sacrifice, but the staff had to sacrifice. I think about the student managers. I think about the student trainers and the sacrifices that they had to make with their roommates, you know, with our staff's children and wives that were going to school and those types of things. You know, everybody knows. I mean, everybody's dealing with this, and it's been challenging on everybody. But then you try to do that while also running a major college football program and all the demands that come from that, and all the demands that come with being a student at one of the most respected academic institutions in the country. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. And, you know, I'm appreciative that we've been able to, up to this point, knock on wood, handle this thing pretty well.
Last question to Ryan Parsons.
Hey, James. So starting on slow on defense and then really cracking down as the game goes on has kind of been a trend throughout the season. What do you think the reason for those slow starts are, and what has really helped you, I guess, dial things up as the game goes on?
Well, I think part of the issue is, you know, you're planning for the guy that's at quarterback that's been playing pretty much the whole year, and the other guy, number one, had been more of a rotational type guy. So all the film, all the planning is kind of based on that. He made some plays. He's a really good player. He was one of the most highly recruited players in the country. And they made some plays early on. And again, the turnover on offense didn't help either. You know, but once we were able to kind of, you know, outnumber them in the box and be a little bit more consistent with our gap responsibility, and then try to make them one-dimensional, that helped us. You know, but again, I thought the fact that the offense was able to put points on the board and have the defenses back And then we were able to slow them down and make some plays on special teams to play more complementary football. But the other thing, guys, is, I mean, we are just like a lot of programs in the country right now. I mean, we are razor thin. I mean, got a lot of guys out. I know you guys, I didn't get the question about, why guys didn't play, but that's a lot. That's a big factor in all this. With a lot of guys that were held out, all the guys that you guys would normally ask me, we're still held out for different medical reasons and medical purposes. So we're thin, very, very thin at certain positions. And that plays a factor in it as well. Guys are playing a lot more reps than they normally would play under normal circumstances. So more on their plate, more responsibility, more things that they need to know from a game plan perspective. It's been very different, but I also know that's the case a lot of places in the country.
Thank you very much, Coach. We'll have player rooms here momentarily.
Thanks, guys. Everybody have a great holiday too.